Hello, hello. What's happened? There it is. This won't matter catching up, but I am I'm 25 minutes late. But let's crack on into it. So I'm just setting up. I have got all the things I need out, thankfully. I'm just trying to get onto the page for Pidgeot. Because as the title will say, and as expected, considering we last did Pidgey and Pidgeotto, today we're going to be doing Pidgeot. But of course, Bulbapedia is not playing ball with me. And while I'm waiting for that, let's make sure we're able to see what we're doing today. I'm really quite annoyed. As mentioned, when we did Pidgey the first day, I'd put the silicone sheet in between the next page that it is now. So unfortunately, a little bit of Pidgey's crest and beak and some of the eyes did come through. So I'm hoping that we can kind of cover this up now and get that moved and off, because it's quite annoying. Let's go back to like there. Let that catch up. And I'm not going to bring it up every single time, but again, Mega Pidgeot will be done on a separate video during the Kalos Pokedex, because that's when it was really... No, it wasn't actually, was it? It was Gen 6. It wasn't the Kalos Dex necessarily, but it was along with the Megas, and that was all that was added, so that's going to be at the end of the Kalos Dex. I believe it was introduced in a Mega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, but yeah, the difference that makes is negligible. Okay, so yeah, good thing is the wing's going to cover this. So Pidgeot's going to be quite big. I'm not going to be doing it horizontal, I will be doing it vertical, portrait, landscape. I'm not going to do it portrait, I will be doing it landscape. And I suppose it's going to take up like most. I'm going to be able to fit Rattata here, which is good if Rattata is next. Is Rattata next? Yeah. So I suppose what I kind of want to do is just give myself a base, no Pidgeot below this, and then we can kind of go from there. If I'm thinking the tail's going to be sort of here, then the wing can come to here, and that wing will be about there, and then we can start right here with the beak. So let's get it started. Just want to make sure. Yeah, cool. So I'm sure it'll be easier for you guys to ignore this horrible pink splodge than it has been for me, but it will be gone. Okay, so I'm just gonna, in fact, actually what I'll do, I'm already gonna have to go, what am I doing? I'm going too far down, as in sort of a straight line, is what I'm doing already. What I need to be doing is immediately that, and then so the tail's going to come a bit further down here, it looks like, but that's cool because I've still got all this room for Rattata, so he'll still fit on, so I'm not bothered or worried. stop there. And then let's start on the crest, because then we can that's too big. So if I put the eye in first, so that's going to be about this big. But then this will give my, I feel like I haven't done enough body here. I do think the body needs to go down a bit further. There is still going to be room for that, so it's fine there. That's better. Let's get this wing in first, because this is going to go over here. And then up, which of course then means that this that's the first time that's happened. That this okay, so then we're going to have this. That's gone too far down, because that wing needs to sort of end here as the first set of feathers. There we go. So let's ignore this, because that then is going to go to there. And then we'll come in with this. Don't mind if it's a bit messy at the moment, because of course we can tidy that up when we come to the lining in a mo. Okay, so this one's gonna come straight into there. Then we've got this one. That does come with a little gap, ignore that. I can't ignore that. Bear with me. Because that then needs to go. That then needs to go, but with a little and that's going to go slightly off the page, but that's okay. I've added an extra feather in there. That doesn't look very good, so I'm going to do it like that. That looks a bit better. And then we just have a little extra bit of red here. Right, let's start rubbing these out, just because they're going to be in the way now at the moment. Because there we go. Okay, so we'll get the tail done first. Little gap here. And then let's get my favourite part, these little talons. Okay, that's not terrible. Okay, and that's enough room there for a small rest, so it's not gonna, I think anyway. If not, it'll just have to be that this is the whole page. It's a bit frustrating I had to cut off this, and actually I do wanna just shorten that out a bit, because okay, so I think we're going to just do the ones I got from Amazon, the My Paw pen line, just because they're there. I'm not digging around for 10 minutes just to get either the drwaing or the Ohuhu. Okay. Start that off there just so I can finish this. Or say finish this, fill this in. Okay. I will bring this along. But I am gonna start on this wing now. Okay, we are moving with this then. So there we go. And then we'll just get that in for that extra bit of red there. Where do I want it? Let's okay. Let's see if I can do this somewhat correctly. That doesn't look terrible. That's better. And that's perfect, yeah. Okay, so I think I will start down here rather than finishing that with a wing. Okay. Again, always paranoid that this isn't going to dry, so Okay, so it's just this wing now that I'm almost certain I'm going to botch, but yeah, ruined that bit. Thank you, Sakura. Yeah, eventually, yeah. So the idea is to do all the decks in order. Forms will come when they're introduced. So, for example, the Megas will be drawn during Gen 6 when I'm doing that Pokédex. Same thing for like Gigantamaxes, they'll come during Gen 8. But yeah, that's the hope that that at some point over the next few years, probably, it will be the entire Pokédex. And of course, by the time that's done, there'll be another few hundred. So. I think I'll have to wrestle it out of my son's hands. He's been eyeing it up ever since I started this. Okay, I think that's oh, it's not everything lined, there we go. There we go, that's everything lined. Okay, while that's drying a sec, I'm just going to get everything opened because while I do have everything prepped, I don't have the boxes opened. So I'm not using the so I use alcohol markers to colour them in. I do have my alcohol markers, my watercolour markers, but A, I don't have as many, and B, I just don't like using them that much. Mostly, thank you for that, but mostly, I think we did have an issue when we first did Bulbasaur, in that I somehow managed to choose the incorrect colours, and we ended up with a shiny Bulbasaur, which is quite lucky, I suppose. There's bits and bobs where, you know, it's not realistic to get the exact colour, obviously. And then there's of course times where we get it quite right. So I'm not unhappy all the time. Sometimes I do get a bit frustrated that I've found a colour, gone with it because I don't want to look for any more, and then of course by the end of the colouring project, or by midway through or the next time, I find a colour that would have been perfect, and yeah, it's a bit annoying, but that's, I suppose, the fun of doing it on the fly. I don't sort of pre-prep colours Most of the time I get everything ready just before. In this case I got most of it ready, but like I said, didn't get the pens out of the boxes. Yeah, possibly, yeah. I was like, oh, do you know what, I've only got this black pen, let's just cover Charizard in, let's do it. I've got my dough instead, I could have done that. So I'm going to try and mix and match more today. I know normally I say that and then I end up sticking with whatever's immediately to my right, so... let's hope and pray that we can do that, because it would be nice to mix and match, but most of the time, the only difference being that I haven't got the Artex ones out today. They're right below me, I could, I just can't bother to get them out. I've used them so much, they're really strong smelling, so... But I've coloured Pidgey and Pidgeot in with solely the Artex ones, so I figured maybe today we mix it up and try something a bit new. Got my test card, so starting to run out of space on this piece. Let's start with the base colour, I suppose, and immediately that's looking pretty good. What's that going to be for the let's try, what's this? No, that's not bad, but not the right colour for this. Let's try more, that one, too dark. Let's keep that there for a second, I'll try. What's this one? Hazelnuts. That's too brown. That's too dark. Honestly, the skin tone's probably better, but I need more of a yellow tone. What's this? Powdery orange. That's too pink. No, it's not good. Pretty much, yeah. Generally, most Pokemon take me about an hour, and that's pretty much the stream that I do. Occasionally there'll be a Pokemon that takes me a little less, but I don't want to sort of mix that in, if that makes sense, because then I know I'll end up here potentially an hour and a half, and most of the time, well, I've got 2 brown greys there, you should be in there, and then I end up getting stuck with a longer one, and that's sort of not the goal or the plan. Do you know what? I think it's going to have to be that one. But I just don't know. I need like a yellowish tinge. Or do I just end up going with grey again? That's what I did last time. Go like a cool grey this time? No, it's too grey. Warm grey 2 was pretty much non-existent, was it? It's a bit dark. I'm going to do it. So I'm going to go in with the Deco Time, Hazelwood for the base, and then Warm Grey just to do the shadows. But yeah, I don't really like going over the hour for 2 reasons. When I stream in the week, so I stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then I stream on Saturdays and Sundays. The weekday streams are after my son's gone to bed. It's just myself here then. So I do it. Oh, I haven't. What an absolute idiot! I haven't rubbed out the pencil. So I don't like to go on too long because I don't want to potentially keep him awake. And then for the weekend ones, we're all here then. I generally plan to be downstairs, enjoying the weekend with the 3 of us. So yeah, I pretty much just do 1 Pokemon. If it takes like crazy, I think like the shortest one so far has been about half an hour. and that was enough for me to go, right, that's been cool, let's go. But I suppose if it was something like, I don't know, Voltorb, I don't imagine taking very long. Although, I said that Metapod wouldn't take long, and it did end up being like a 40-minute stream. So, it's one of those where I've got to play it by ear, I suppose, and see. But the plan one day is to do like a special, maybe, for Unknown, and kind of draw all of them in one sitting. Not sure how realistic that would be, but exactly the same. I can't imagine it taking very long to really get the drawing down or the colouring down, simply because there's not much to it. And those potentially, could be more than one. I do like to separate them simply because I'm not a very strong video editor. So I do like to have the separate streams as well, simply so that when I export them to YouTube, I've automatically got separation in there. Although I did, because we had to cut off the Pidgey stream, I did end up getting editing software and using it briefly just to add the two videos together to make it one for YouTube. So it's not necessarily something that I couldn't do. This already seems like the shadow, to be fair. It's a bit... I wonder if I just try and find like a really bright yellow for the body, because there is that kind of... Is that too yellow? Do you know what? Is that too yellow? Pidgeot's really yellow anyway. Is there like in here like a yellow grey? I'm sure I've seen a yellow grey. Oh, what's this actually? What does Primrose look like? Yeah, that's spot on actually. So I've changed my mind. I'm going to go in with Primrose from the Oahu range, and just make that transition a bit easier, because the grey is going to be too dark anyway, and I know that's what we've kind of done with both Pidgey and Pidgeotto. But this now, so you can already see that that's going to be a good difference there. That's going to look nice, but also look correct. I'm trying to make sure I heavily alter the shadows here to include these bits that I've already done. Yeah, there was a consideration to do more streams. I think I still could, to be fair. Possibly make it daily, because I'm on adoption leave at the moment until September, so I could get a heck of a lot done before then. But then the selfish part of me sort of sits here thinking, well, what about my life? So I think the 4 is working at the moment. I don't want to burn myself out, because the main part with that is after a stream, I still then draw Pokemon. So my son most days makes me draw some Pokemon for him, which I don't put much effort into, but he makes me draw Pokemon for him to then colour, which is adorable, to be fair. I need to sort out notifications, but Asakura, if that was yourself that followed, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. If it wasn't, then whoever just followed, thank you, and I really appreciate it. Hopefully you do enjoy the remainder of the 1,000 and change Pokemon that we're going to have to do, plus forms, plus whatever else comes after the fact, because I'm sure at 4 streams a week, 4 Pokemon a week, we're going to be doing this for a long time, and there's probably going to be at least two generations before then. Okay. Now let's go in and fix the shadow. Well, I say fix the shadows, do the shadows. Looks so much darker now. But that's the fun part. Getting these in, getting them right. I say it's an exact science, it probably is an exact science, but I don't subscribe to colour theory yet, so sadly, this is where we stand with it. But as I say all the time, this is the fun part, is getting these colours in, hating them, and then suddenly the next day, or at least the next stream, come back going, actually I like that now. Yeah, I really like that now, it's one of my favourites. And that seems to so far happen with every single, this one, do that one. Every single picture thus far, apart from specifically the wing on Pidgeot. Oh, wasn't there another one that I didn't like? I think maybe Venusaur I thought was a bit odd. Right, so it's gonna just have the same for them. This is going to go all the way down, but it's going to have a little bit on the part of the feather above it, so that'll do. That goes to like there. That has nothing. That will have a little patch. So will that. So will that. And that. And other than that, that's all going to be shadow. Because then that. It's going to cover all of that as well. So let's block this off for the time being. We can do the front part of the wing immediately afterwards. So I did watch one, or a couple of videos where the technique to get sort of less patchiness was to do these swirls like this, colour in a circle, and then go straight up and down it. But I've mentioned it a few times that the sort of patchiness of this, of alcohol markers, kind of really lends itself to the style. I'm sticking to that because it does really help a lot of the time. Alright then, all of these, they're going to have this little tip of the base colour. Yes, so you may sometimes see me slip into that technique simply because I like it, but yeah, it just helps. I can go back. Where are you? There you are. Okay, so let's get on to, let's do the beak and the beak and the talons next. Only because I can see, nope, actually, let's keep that there. I can see a colour that may work. No, I agree completely. I was frustrated at first, simply because I immediately went into, oh no, this has gone wrong mode, when it didn't come out the way I wanted it to. And it seemed patchy, and I was like, well, actually, looking at it, the original arts were like watercolour anyway, watercolour paints. And it kind of fits this. I always call it patchiness, but it's not a patchiness. It's technically streaks, but it just kind of works for the look that Pokemon, especially the Gen 1 so far, but the look that Pokemon needs. Okay, that was Pinkish Vanilla, which is who have some really interesting names. And that was from the Carla range, so this one then is from Oahu and it's just dark pink, which isn't as adventurous, but I'm going to keep myself from being tempted as well to just go in with the grey now all the time, because I just enjoyed the way that worked. Okay. Okie dokes. So let's get maybe these two. Yep. What about that one actually? Yeah. So I'm going to go in with the Deco Time Warm Grey 7 and 9 for the sort of stripe around his eyes and then the eyes as well. But I'm going to go with 7, yeah. I think from what I've seen, these pens are getting somewhat big on TikTok now. I think they've got them in Tesco's now, so everyone's clamouring to get them. I think my friend who sort of not mocked but laughed at the amount of pens that I've got, although now they're being used. Before they weren't, but laughed at how many pens that I had. She's now doing the same because she is a TikTok girlie. Okay. I've just realised what we've done. There's Primrose. And was it Raw Silk? Crap. Or was it Hazelnuts? Was it Hazelnuts? Was it Hazelnuts? No, it had a brush, didn't it? So it was a Decathlon one. Oh no. No. Well, that's not good, but what I can do, because I have the stream open, I can't go back while it's live, can I? Oh no. What pen was I using? Right, let's go in with the Primrose first anyway, just to get the initial colour in. So there's something there, because I've missed these feathers. And there's not really a problem because you can always go back in and obviously fill them in. But I make absolutely no note of what colours I use. I just use them and talk about them as I do them. Thanks, Munchney. While you were lurking, you don't remember hearing me talk about what colour I did on the shadows by any chance, do you? Right, it was Primrose, it was definitely something from here. Was it Hazelwood or was it Raw Silk? Hazelwood. I don't think it was Hazelwood. I want to say it was Raw Silk, I remember looking at the pearl white when I was putting it back. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. No worries. I've got the memory of a sieve, so I don't think this is the right colour at all. But to be fair, I could do with this one being darker than the normal anyway. So I might just quickly go over it in like a really light one. I've got 1 grade 2 there. Do I have, what's this? 1 grade 140. 1 grade 170. 1 grade 140 and 150, there we go. Let's see if that's a bit darker. Probably a bit too dark, but I need to fix this now, so oh no, it's not too bad. And this, kids, is why you pay attention when you're colouring, so you don't miss any. But the good thing is, on the original artwork, that is a darker colour anyway, so we've not ruined anything, technically. Right, let's get in with the body now. Well, that's not going to be right. I'm sure we could do something a bit yellower, but I'm going to keep that one there. That's going to be really dark, isn't it? That's basically black. Come on, hoo-hoo. Right there. Too dark. What about this? That's actually perfect for the base colour. Yeah, I think it was just differentiating because I think at the time we then had like Star Raptor and Talonflame, who are both physical attackers, Swellow, who's a physical attacker, and then Noctowl, who was like an underwhelming special attacker. So I think... Oh, Unpheasant. Sorry, I forgot Unpheasant, but everyone forgets Unpheasant. I think it was good to give him something different, but yeah, I agree. It's just a bit... I suppose the whole point of Megas was to intrinsically change the Pokemon. It's just that's not what they ended up doing most of the time. A lot of the time they did just accentuate things that probably didn't need accentuating, but or didn't change them at all. Where was that one now? Because that could work. Yeah. Agreed. You know that works. It always finds. You know, it just gave me another excuse to use Pidgeot, so I was happy. I do love a no guard hurricane. So that always helps. I'm sure it could eventually get Heat Wave at some point. Breeding maybe. I'm going to go in with Shallow Earth and Thin Persimmon. So Shallow Earth's going to be the base colour because it is kind of that perfect yellowish tone. Because Pidgeot for some reason is kind of like a yellowy brown underneath, although that's more so the highlights, but that's basically the two tones that I'm using. It doesn't look correct right now, but when I go over with the next colour. Male Unpheasant's cool. I don't like female Unpheasant. But I've always... Do you know what? It's one of those... I think what got me more interested and invested... I always try and stick with at least the regional bird for a bit on my main team. I try... Especially now, I try and have the 3 starters, the bird, and then just a couple of Pokemon I like that I think fit with the types for me to fill them out. And I did that anyway on Black and White. But I think Ash's use of it, well, I say use of it in the anime, not necessarily the way he used it, having one in the anime, I should say, of Pidove, made me like it more. Only because I remember the first couple of episodes that it battled and it just screamed when it used Air Cutter. I always found it a bit funny. No, I haven't played any ROM hacks for a long time, to be fair. I think the last ones I ever really played were like Blaze Black and Volt White and Ash Grey, and I've never really played any since then. I did try and jump on. Much now, I'm such the opposite. I dabbled in competitive. I just am absolutely not that way inclined. I'm not good enough to be a competitive player, so yeah, I kind of focus my energies on just Pokemon I like using that can get me through the story, and realistically everything can get you through the story in some way, shape or form. So yeah, it's one of those where I just don't focus too much on most of the things like that, simply because yeah, I just don't have the patience to have anything other than let's go on and smash everything mode. So I'm not a setup player at all. Shame actually, there was a tournament held right by me. I was interested in at least going. We had plans, so we couldn't go anyway, but it would have been cool to have gone to. I do like watching competitive. Only really the VGC. I don't I don't mess around with the card tournament, or I have watched a couple, and same with like Pokemon Go, Pokken when it was there, and oh gosh, what's it called now? What's that game called? On the Switch, Pokemon Unite. That's it. That's fair. See, I didn't really during COVID. I was in retail, so because it was a supermarket, I literally worked every day as normal, so I was still working full time. And the only real free time I had to myself, I kept to myself. So that was still the normal stuff: playing games and watching movies and eating. I always do get, not necessarily jealous, but do get a little jealous when I hear about people having the sort of furlough, or their places closing down, whether it be school or work. Because I would have liked a little bit of time off, but sadly, I didn't. But I've got it now. I'm officially a stay-at-home dad for 12 months. That's worked out well for me. Right, so we want to get these tail feathers and crest done. Is that? I like that actually. We need like a lighter version or something lighter from underneath. Something ready. That's a bit too pink. What's this? Pale mauve. That's going to be too. Yeah, too dark. Yeah, no worries, Munchney. I might be finished by the time you get back, to be fair. If I don't, I'll see you on the next stream, hopefully. That coral. That too. Yeah, it's not going to work. Like this. Nope. Nope. I have the colour in my head, so I know what I want. I have it on the screen as well. I don't need. There we go. Let's try that together here. That's too red in comparison. But wow, what was it now? Where was it? No. Was it the coral? Yeah. It's not gonna be the exact colours, but I like the colour combination together. So I'm gonna go in. These are both from the Oahu range. I'm going in with fruit pink and then coral pink, and hopefully that turns out kind of how it is in my head, but also how it is on the original artwork ish. But as we've learnt through sort of every drawing I've done so far, there's always that kind of creative freedom to not get the correct colours, because let's be fair, we're not going to get an exact match in, it might be what, maybe 300 marker pens here perhaps, but we're not going to get the exact match even in that number, because these aren't the Pidgeot set of markers, so we're going to do what we do. And what we do is either closest match or the colours that I think look nice together or will look good on there. And it mostly works. I haven't had any real massive blunders with colour, apart from Bulbasaur, but that turned out quite well for me, so happily. Okay. That was in there, who knows. And then let's go in with the coral pink. That same colour like that. Have I just discovered a new recipe? Yes, I have. Come on, Ignis, get to the kitchen. Oh, got a bit excited there. And then, as we sort of mentioned a few times, I don't intend yet to sort of get the proper... Most of these are in at least 3 tones, sometimes more. I'm not there yet, but I do think what I intend to do is just go over this top part again and darken it a little bit, so at least there's the idea of a darker tone there. And then let's just go, oops, almost completely over that bit. That's gonna get a nice little part there. Perfect. And then, sure. And then we just need to get this nice yellowy gold crest filled in, and I think that one. Actually, go Canaria. What does that look like? Yeah, because the shadows aren't really massively different on there, so I'm going to go in with Canaria yellow and then lemon yellow for this last crest. So, no, it's literally the same colour. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really happy with it. Just want to get. I don't know if that was what I did. We're gonna do that. Yeah, I'm really quite happy with it at the moment. That's a bit orange, but oh well. Okay, and that is pretty much that. I'm just going to go in with a colourless blender and get some of the highlights done, which, to be fair, there's not really many on Pidgeot. There's a little bit of this yellow here, but yellow doesn't seem to really take much of this. And there's the beak. There's a little bit on the shoulder here. And then this belly button again. The yellowish colours don't really take to these. This doesn't really seem to work on them, sadly. But we can keep trying and hope. It's coming up a little bit. And I do try to then go in with the littlest bit of blue-grey. And then just to top it off, get this bit of white back. Let that dry, go over the liner. And we are done so. Just gotta let that dry a sec. I'm actually, yeah, very happy with that. So that's brought us all the way to the end. Asakura, it was lovely to have you here today for the first time. Thanks so much for joining. Munchny, thanks for joining as well. For anyone watching this on catch up, if you do enjoy this, please don't forget to drop a follow. I stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 PM and Saturdays and Sundays at 2 PM, all British time, and all when I can, basically. So if you are watching me on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and do follow the playlist for all of the Pokemon so far. And of course, to keep updated on every time I do try and upload these pretty much after, but not always. Sometimes it ends up being in the morning, sometimes it ends up being a few hours in the night. Absolutely, yeah. So let's go from the beginning. So we've got Bulbasaur and Ivysaur. Venusaur. I do need to come back to this and finish off the little dappling effect on the leaves with the Colourless Blender. This is when I first started using the Colourless Blender in there and realised that actually that kind of strange bleaching effect works. Charmander and Charmeleon. Our big boy Charizard. And actually, Munchny, now that this has dried, this doesn't look as terrible as we thought it did on stream. The fire effect on the wings, so your advice wasn't completely gone. Squirtle and Wartortle. Blastoise. Caterpie and Metapod. Butterfree and Weedle. Both who have issues that I don't like, but we got past to the next page and we were fine. So it all worked out in the end, even though Butterfree's got a strangely small eye and we had to mess with the shape of Weedle's nose, sadly. Then Kakuna and Beedrill. I really liked Beedrill in the end, actually. It turned out really well. Pidgey and Pidgeotto. And then, of course, today's Pidgeot, which again, I really like, so I'm really happy with that. I do intend at some point to properly start a separate Instagram and post up the pictures of them, the completed ones on there. So I'll drop that all in the description at some point when I get that done. But thank you, yeah. I really like most of them. There's that one page with the Butterfree and the Weedle that are my least favourites, but everything else so far, I think I'll surprise myself with the sort of the skill I do have, because I thought, well, that's very kind of you, but I disagree. Literally, I'm copying from, I have the photo on the screen, the original artwork, and I'm just copying it. One day, the whole point of this is to sort of improve my skills so that I can do it freehand and without any reference, and can then sort of draw. I have a fake deck, so like 200 and something Pokemon that I intend to then be able to draw and properly bring to life in the same kind of style. So hopefully we get there, but no thanks, that's really kind of you. I think that's everything. Yeah, thanks so much, and hopefully, yeah, hopefully see everyone tomorrow about the same time, and everyone have a great day or a great weekend. Bye.